Good morning, y'all. I better put my feet up because if I don't, I am going to be rocking. um, Nothing fancy today, y'all can tell. And my night shirt gets turned into a yard shirt. Y'all, today it is supposed to be 68 degrees. So we're going to be outside. There's so many things I want to do. And, you know, first of all, let me say that, well, I'm going to make two videos so I can cover this. Stop rocking. Okay. If y'all have not suffered or don't suffer from ADHD or ADD, please look it up. I've had this since I was a little girl. I've had doctors tell me that you outgrow it. That's not true. Maybe some people do. Maybe some people stop needing medication because they have stopped working. So that help with focusing and being able to stay on task and complete things is not as important. This is a condition, disease, whatever you want to call it, that can be debilitating. And it is a disability, and you can also look that up. You don't have to take my word for it. But the reason I'm talking about that, or this morning, is because I have so many things that I want to do, and I will start something and then something else will catch my attention and I will start that. And the next thing you know, I can have 3 or 4, even 5 things that are started. And some of them, I might just get them started and then get distracted. Some of them, I may get a third of the way into it or even a half of the way into it. But I always get distracted. It is very frustrating. One of the biggest things that we try to do is to make lists. Making a list is fine for keeping up with the tasks that you want to do, but it does not help you stay on track. Now, when I worked in an office, in order to be productive, I had to shut my door. And usually I had a note that I would put on the door. And all my coworkers understood this. Busy, come back later, smiley face. Something like that. And they understood if my door was closed, unless you really needed me, please let me do what I'm doing. A trip to the bathroom, walking down the hallway. People want to chat with you, and I want to chat with them. You get distracted. I used to stay after work when everybody was gone so I could catch up on my daily work. No distractions. And that's how I had to do it. to work with this disability. Now, I was so fortunate at my last job that my supervisor accommodated me. She accommodated me by giving me my own office. I had previously been in a cubicle, which I was very happy in, but there was no door. It was in the hallway on the way to the restroom, and people always stopped by and talked to me, and and finally what I did one day, and I didn't ask anybody if I could do it, I just did it. I got a tension rod and put on the edge of my cubicle wall over to the wall, and I made a curtain. And I sewed some little things on the outside of the curtain to make it cutesy, of course. Now, my whole cubicle was pink. And the man who was second on the totem pole, Greg, he came by one day and he said, "I'm knocking." Sweetest man in the world. And so I opened my curtain and I said, "Yes." And he goes, I'll leave her name out of it, so-and-so, who was the director, does she know about this? And I said, "Well, I don't know. I guess not, unless she has walked by here." And he said, "Well, just be prepared, okay?" Now, this lady was kind of known for losing her temper sometimes. So my desire to be able to concentrate on my work, I had a lot on my plate, y'all, a lot, and I needed to concentrate. So the need to do that was much greater than me worrying about what she was going to say. And you know that saying, it's easier to apologize than it is to ask permission. So maybe that's the tact I was taking. I don't really know. Anyway, she came down the hallway. You had to do that. You had to pass my cubicle to get there. So she stopped. And she said, "Hey, Deb." I was bracing myself, okay? She said, "What a great idea." I could have fell out of my chair. She said, "I know that you have ADD, ADHD." And she said, I understand that. She said, "I know people that have it." And I said, "I'm so glad that you do understand it." I said, "I am doing my best to stay on track and to finish my work every day." She said, "Well, I've noticed that you stay after everybody has gone." And I said, "You know how important it is for me to do my job." And she said, "Yes, I know that." So the next thing I knew, there was a vacant office, as a matter of fact, over by her. And so I see them moving furniture in. And I'm thinking, oh, somebody's going to get their own office. And I was so happy for them. That's kind of like a promotion. And so the next thing I know, I'm being called into her office. And I don't care how old you are. It's the same thing as being called into the principal's office. The first thing you think is, "Oh, Lordy, what have I done?" And so I went down, and she said, "Close the door, have a seat." And I'm thinking, oh my word, this must be really bad. And I'm just thinking, what have I done? What have I done? She said, because ADHD and ADD are disabilities, you can ask for a reasonable accommodation. And I said, yes, I know that. And I really appreciate that you have allowed me to have the curtain. And she said, well, you're going to have this office next door to me. Well, I'm sure my jaw dropped. And then the first thing that came to my mind is, I don't have seniority here. I'd been there for a couple of years already, but there were people that had been there longer than me. And I said, I can't do that. I said, there are people who have had, that have seniority that could be moved into their own office. And she said, that doesn't have anything to do with it. And I said, then people have to be aware of what disability prompted this, or people are going to hate me. Now, I had a really, really good working relationship, y'all, with my coworkers. We had so much fun together and joked around all the time. And when you work with homeless people, providing services, and this includes senior citizens, it's very serious and it's heartbreaking work sometimes. So you really have to have some levity. And y'all know I'm a big goofball, and so we used to have a lot of fun, but I was so worried, and I tried to talk her out of me having that office. She was not going to change her mind. So I moved in, and she put out an email, a memo, with my permission, explaining the reason why I was moving into the office. And I was so glad that she did that, because the last thing you want to do is have people walking around giving you nasty looks and being ugly to you, shunning you. That would have broken my heart. But I must say, everybody was so understanding. Now, a lot of people did know about it, because y'all know I am a chatterbox and I really don't have any secrets. But, it is a serious enough condition that occasionally it gets to you so bad that you are in tears. You are so frustrated, and you try and you try and you try. That's why organization is so important to me, knowing where things are. I can spend an hour looking for something. I needed some magnets one day, and I knew I had some little round magnets that I had gotten when I lived in the van, which I miss Tank. I really do. But I spent so much time, and this is what happens when you get distracted. You waste so much time, and it just kills you. Or you get distracted doing something stupid, like reorganizing the arts and crafts at Big Lots, when you could have been at home doing something productive. It's horrible, y'all. And, you're in trouble at school all the time when you're a kid, because you cannot shut up. Y'all know that about me, obviously. Over 2,000 videos. So I hope you guys can just understand a little bit that, videos are not always put out in order, and sometimes I get confused. Thank goodness that YouTube has a thing where if you're uploading a video but you've already done it once, they will catch it for you. And they'll say, not able to upload, this is a duplicate. Now, I guess if you changed it, then it might not recognize that, or you guys would be seeing the same video. I try so hard. I make a video. Then I'm moved on to something else. Miss Hazel needs a nap, or, whatever it is. And I don't get to uploading it until later. And then I'm doing something else. And then I haven't gone through and finished it up and made it public. So that's why I'm always behind on videos. If all I had to do was sit and make videos and upload them immediately, and then critique them a little bit, make sure my description doesn't have a bunch of bad words in it because of my dictation, and make it public, then things would be so much better with my channel. And that's why people like Carolyn and so many people, their stuff is just right on. And I would love to be that way. But I can't. I try. ADD is such a time waster. It's why I don't get nearly as much accomplished as a regular person would. It's like, what was that movie? It was called, I think it was called A Quiet Mind or something like that. And the thing that we wish for the most is that our mind would slow down and we would be able to concentrate. So I've talked about this a little bit before, but I just want y'all to understand, it is not that I don't care. It's not that I don't want things to be better in this community as far as my videos go. I do. I struggle with it every single day. But I just wanted y'all to know that, okay? There's a lot of new folks here in the community, and when you're not able to watch all these videos, good heavens, that's why I'm trying so hard to get my playlists together so that there's disability, which this would come under. Bipolar, I've talked about bipolar. I've talked about depression, Social Security, things like that. And I am trying to get playlists, and it's easy now because I know how to do it. So when I'm going to publish a video, there's a little thing that says playlist, and you click on that arrow, and of course you had to create your playlist, and then you click on the one that it goes to, and then it goes immediately into that playlist. So now it's easy for me to do. I used to not know how to do that. It takes me forever, y'all, to learn this stuff. But anyway, this is a really long video, and those of you that have heard me talk about this before, just skip it, sweetie. I don't care. You know that. And so I am going to shut up now, believe it or not, because there's something else I want to talk to you about this morning. Do something fun today, and I'll talk to you later, like in a couple of seconds. Bye now.